Hello, and thanks for watching Naomi's Scrappy Retreat. I have something a little bit different that I'm going to be doing. I started doing a little um, garden, and it's outside of my apartment. So a neighbor and I started doing this together. So I have my coffee. I hope you do too. And it's just going to be a quick tour. And this was my redone wreath. I actually changed the bottom of it. So we just have some, just going to show you the garden just a little bit. I had a little planter that I bought locally. It just has some basil. I bought a pre-done, already ready cherry tomato plant so that I could have cherry tomatoes earlier. I did not plant anything from seed because, again, I just have a little teeny tiny garden. So we are going to go over and look at some of what I have. I just have some green onions. I have some cilantro. I have jalapeno. I have these fun little sweet bell pepper mix with the different colors. Then I have some little cherry tomatoes. And then these purple cherry tomatoes, they're actually called black tomatoes. And then I have a big boy and then another other one. So I have a couple indeterminate and determinate flowers. So my video got all mixed up and I'm not really sure how it did. Some of it's sideways, some of it's not. So I tried to fix it. So what I wanted to just quickly let you know is that I did go ahead, and when I planted this, I went ahead and wrote the date that I planted them, because if you notice on the tags when you buy them from the store, it does state it's this many days from the date of planting. So give or take, I should know about when I'm going to have harvest. All I'm doing now is picking off suckers, and suckers are just the shoots that come in between a branch and the main stalk, and that just gives some added growth. It doesn't, so when I say added growth, it just allows the plant to receive the nutrition from the sun and the water in the correct places. Now, because of where I am, I only get about 5 hours of sun a day, so I'm hoping that these grow. Again, I live in an apartment. This was the only place to put this little bed, so we'll see what happens. Now, with these pepper plants, if you take the very top parts off, then before the top first bigger sets of leaves, you will actually get bushier pepper plants, and they won't grow tall and lanky. This will allow you to actually have a bushier plant. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just picking off. My hands are clean, so I'm not going to give any like infection or bacteria or anything. So usually if you want to use your fingers, or you want to use very clean scissors or something sharp to pitch those off of. So that's all I'm doing, is I'm just going around. Now I do know that I have to do some more pruning of my tomato plants and my pepper plants, but I just planted these, so I'm not really doing anything just yet on this day. And this video is actually a couple days old. So what I'm doing here with these tomato plants, again, is the basil plant. It's the same thing. You want to make sure that there's no flower on your basil plant, because if it starts to flower, it will no longer produce. You want it to get bushy, so all I did there was I just took some of that top part that was getting ready to flower off, and you have to be careful because when it's hot out, it will flower really quickly. Now, again, this is a pre-bought plant that was already had everything. It had the and I'm just taking the little teeny tiny suckers off before they get ahead of me. It already had the tomato cage. It already had the pot that was big enough, or so it says, that it could grow in, just because it already had a cherry tomato on, as you can see at the bottom. And I wanted to go ahead and hopefully harvest some cherry tomatoes or some sort of tomatoes ahead of time. Now it does have these brown spots on, which I'm not really quite sure what it is, and they were like that when I bought them. So I'm hoping that this does really well out here. But really, for a tomato plant, you want one main stalk, because otherwise then you will, you'll just have your nutrition going to multiple places, and you want one healthy stalk that has branches off of it. And so the easier way for me to water this and to keep water in was to add shells to these two planters, and I'm going to add hay to the other planter, and this will just allow moisture to stay inside of the plant a little bit better. It'll also allow calcium to enter the soil over time as well. Now, because this is a planter, they probably won't be in there long enough to add calcium, but that's what I added. So I also added straw hay to my little planter. That way it will again help the water, the nutrition, the moisture to stay in, and also add nutrition to the soil. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you like this video and we'll tune back in to my growing season and we will see together if my plants actually survive. So if you like this, give it a like, and I hope that you subscribe to my channel. I am always doing weird things on here. I'm not on here as much as I want to be, but I'm hoping to get better at that. Again, have a wonderful day. Be a blessing to someone else and be blessed.